Hello! Today we're doing the PvP Cyrodiil for our ESO. The next few videos are just basically gonna be me and Kate. Well, we were gonna do audio together, but circumstances prevented us from doing it together, so basically I'm just doing this myself. So entering Cyrodiil is a little confusing at first, but the system makes sense once you figure it out. Mainly the next few videos are going to be my impressions on PvP in general, which, like everyone else, I love it. It is, just in general, it is amazing, and it is, it's just so time-consuming. Once you get into Cyrodiil, you're gonna end up, you're gonna end up going around doing the starter quest, which is basically...
You look lost. Probably need some training. I can help you out.
What do I have to do?
Nothing too hard. Start by bringing these munitions over to Zahn at the siege range near the Eastern Elsewhere Gate. Use the Transitus Shrine to get there fast.
What if I don't need training?
You should still head over to the Eastern Elsewhere Gate. To skip training, you need to talk to Grand Warlord Sokolin over there.
Thank you. So yeah, PvP is basically taking place in this big giant map, which at the time I joined on the third day of this beta test was pretty much heavily dominated by Eldamari Dominion. As you can see, there are a whole lot of things going on here. Yeah, it is basically a big giant triangle of sorts, and all those little keeps are spread about in these little patterns and stuff. And you basically go from keep to keep taking resources, but before that you need to train to get used to everything. So you are basically gonna be looking around, trying to find every single little thing that you can for PvP. Because you're going to want to get a lot of training. A lot of training in. Training is pretty important for PvP because without it I would have been completely lost later on. Now, Cyrodiil has its own Transitus Shrine network that's different from the Way Shrines. They're basically Way Shrines that have been co-opted into their own little networks, so that you can't teleport to the other Alliance networks. I have no idea how it's been set up, but in various places you'll find mages constantly casting enchantments on the Transitus Shrines, which I'm guessing is preventing people from teleporting in, or is keeping them all connected in some regard or another. Exploring Cyrodiil is... Let me just say, Cyrodiil is big, and you're going to be doing a lot of running. I mean, let me just say it flat out. You better put in a lot of stamina perks, or at the very least, get yourself a horse by either buying the Imperial Edition and getting the free horse.
Very flammable materials here. Watch your tail. Ah, good. Our Karen promised these yesterday.
Or,
we are
well,
always running low.
Like I said, a lot of stamina.
On the use of siege weapons.
You're gonna need a lot of money to buy a horse, though.
Okay. Siege weapons are fascinating, yes? There is much to learn. There are several types, each very useful in its way. To learn about rams and flaming oil, talk to Miniel by the tower. For trebuchets, catapults, and ballistae, talk to Firamo. So yeah,
PvP is basically attacking other people's keeps to take resources, and your main tool to do that is with these different weapons. Trebuchets, ballista, rams, all sorts of other things. And it is fun to use these things. Let me just say that flat out.
Yes, what do you need? Trebuchets, catapults, and ballistae are the tools of our trade.
So I'm using a ballista, I think. And I have no idea what I'm doing here at first. Ooh. But I stumble upon it eventually. I don't know how this works. Boom! These things are slow to reload, too. Let me try this. So... Smash. And I'm aiming in the wrong places entirely here. I'm supposed to be aiming for the target dummies, but instead I'm aiming for the building here. Boom! Ice ball. Interesting, very interesting. All these weapons are interesting. Just ignore past me talking in the background here. Yeah, I know it's very entertaining to blow things up past me, but I'm just not going to argue with myself here. It's not worth it. Yeah, here's where I figure out that I'm supposed to be aiming at something. Scattershot catapult. Boom! Because, see, there's that. I must have hit a dummy by accident to not realize it, and that's when I realized. I guess I was hitting the wrong thing before. Let me try changing. Yep, see? Past me, finally figured it out.
To knock down a castle door, a ram's your best bet. Deploy one, get enough people on it to push it up to the door, then stay with it until the door collapses. There's a vat you can use atop the platform here. Use it as you would any other siege weapon. Just don't pour it on me or the ram.
Now, I haven't been able to test out rams personally. The one time a ram was used around me, I got killed by the enemy before I could see it be used. So, by the time I got there, it basically just been used and just lying there. I don't think I could drop that on her. Oh! These things seem to be kind of hard to aim. Nice. And every single war weapon has a long reload time. Oh. Which I suppose prolongs the war. Target. There we go. Yay! Damage the target dummy. Nice. Ha! For it to reignite. Core! Boom! So yeah, that's kind of fun.
But now, others need to speak with you.
Ooh.
At the Elder Scroll Temple of Nem, Protector our fear waits. She has much to tell you.
Unlike previous Elder Scroll games, excluding Skyrim, the actual Elder Scrolls feature a heavy role in the PvP combat for ESO. And in between a lot of wandering from here to there, in which I discover a sky shard, and then subsequently goof off by climbing on the rock faces and stuff, and failing at climbing. But in between the traveling, because there is a significant distance, you cannot travel to Elder Scrolls shrines, you actually have to walk to them. Because traveling is like I said, you're going to do a lot of walking in ESO. But here are the Elder Scrolls.
Greetings, soldier.
Greetings.
You stand in a holy place. The Elder Scrolls are a sacred charge of the Old Mary Dominion. We must keep the scrolls from those who would defile or misuse them.
Tell me about the scrolls.
Every member of the Dominion should cherish the Elder Scrolls. Our sacred trust to protect the scrolls must be our primary focus. The Elder Scrolls are prophecies in essence, but they are much more than that.
What more can you tell me?
The scrolls contain records of all past and future events, but they cannot be read without a severe price: madness, blindness, even death. Many believe they were created by the Aedra, but why or when is unknown. The temples are holy places, created as housing for the scrolls to honor and protect them.
Why do we capture enemy scrolls?
The Grand Warlord orders these attacks. Access to each scroll is blocked by a gate. To unlock it, both castles protecting it must be taken away from the alliance that holds the scroll. Once the castles are captured, the way to the temple is open.
What then?
The Elder Scroll must be taken from its temple and brought to one of our 6 original castles. Once there, it must be placed upon a scroll pedestal. Needless to say, capturing an Elder Scroll requires the cooperation of many soldiers.
Why are they important to the Dominion?
Every Elder Scroll we hold grants power to all the soldiers of our alliance. This is another reason our enemies cannot be allowed to keep any of them.
Thank you. Any of the original 6 temples. Now, see, if I had remembered that later on, when I could have things could have gone a lot differently. But considering that me and Kate were just PvPing, just goofing off for the fun of it most of the time. Yeah, a lot of goofing off we were doing. In between exploring and stuff, Cyrodiil is pretty huge, and the tutorial stuff takes you across a vast distance of walking space, just on its own. Because PvP is pretty big, and so is Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil is big, PvP is big, everything in this part of the game is big.
You are near the end of your training, soldier. We have yet to explain the tactics used to capture the enemy's castles and resources. Defenders must be overcome, and our banner must be raised on the flagpole. For castles, we must breach walls or sunder gates to reach the heart of the enemy's stronghold.
And it is easier said than done.
Sorry, soldier. Very busy here right now. New recruit, eh? Then you need to know about our mission boards. The bounty and scouting boards are on either side of me. Every so often, bounty missions are simple. Kill enemy soldiers. If you kill enough of them, come back for a reward. Information is vital to winning this war. Each scouting mission sends you to a target deep in enemy territory. If you can get there and look around, report back as soon as possible.
It is good that he did so, as the battle and warfront missions are under Ataba's care. Vilya brings Grand Warlord Sorkelin's orders. These Ataba posts for brave warriors to see and accept. You have questions? Battle missions send groups of soldiers to capture valuable enemy resources, yes? The farm, lumber mill, and mine around each castle support its war efforts. If we capture those resources, that castle is greatly weakened. Warfront missions are Ataba's favorites. These are major attacks to capture enemy castles. Many brave warriors are needed. Taking castles from our enemies is the key to the Dominion controlling Cyrodiil. The rest is best learned through experience. The mission boards contain Grand Warlord Sorkelin's latest orders. Ataba suggests a scouting mission to start.
Our army needs the blessings this scroll bestows. I am looking for warriors.
There is a lot of stuff to PvP.